Hello, my name is Allison Littleford, and today I'm going to talk to you about natural family planning and informatics in healthcare. Natural family planning, or fertility awareness, is defined by the World Health Organization in their 2018 Family Planning Handbook. They define it as knowing and recognizing when the fertile time, or when a woman can get pregnant, occurs in the menstrual cycle. If you are practicing fertility awareness as a birth control method to prevent pregnancy, you must abstain from sexual intercourse or use a barrier method of birth control during the fertile periods. Smalley and Robinson go on to further discuss natural family planning in an American Family Physician article and discuss why women and families are turning towards natural family planning as a contraceptive method. They discuss the non hormonal benefits, non invasive like an IUD, and the benefit of working with a partner to be in tune with a woman's natural cycle. I'm going to provide a quick overview of the WHO methods mentioned in their handbook. The standard days method is when women check their fertile periods, usually days 8 to 19, out of each 26 to 32 day cycle using calendar, beads, or other aids. Basal body temperature is women taking their temperature at the same time every morning before rising out of bed and looking for a zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5 degrees Celsius change. The 2-day method is when women check their fertile periods by observing presence of cervical mucus or any type or consistency. And the symptothermal method is when women observe for changes in the cervical mucus, texture, body temperature, and consistency of the cervix, observing for softening. So, as discussed in these performance of fertility awareness methods and apps review and the fertility application for contraceptive, something that's different about these methods is you don't know what a logarithm a company might be using, or it may be a traditional method where they just give you a green or red dot. So all of these are slightly different than traditional methods that don't use computer input to give you a picture or data to let you know when a fertility day to avoid having sex or to use barriers during those times. So, to tie natural family planning methods and M Health and wearable devices, I have pictured one of the methods that are being marketed to women for contraceptive and a wearable device that measures heart rate variability ratio, perfusion movement, bioimpedance, heat loss, sleep, and data quality. Now, for the research literature and trial that they did for this wearable technology, they simply used luteinizing hormone strips, this wearable device that tested heart rate only, and then put it into their logarithm. But now they're claiming this app has scientific measures and data backing its effectiveness. So in Staggers and Nelson, they talk about the explosion of this M Health and wearable devices and FDA regulation that's only going to be monitored if it's considered high risk to the patients. And with women who have this high access, as demonstrated in the Ericsson mobile report of 395 million subscriptions to mobile data, set to double by 2020, and LTE and 5G speeds that should be reached by 95% of mobile consumers by 2021. Women are going to have this in their hands and access to it, and we kind of need to take a look at what's effective and what the science is behind these natural family planning methods set to be available in M Health and wearable technology. I've always been passionate about women's healthcare, and I was looking for an informatics project that would correlate well with my scholarly project. I'm focusing on contraceptive care and access to these cares and education for women in the primary care clinic, and I hadn't really focused on using fertility awareness or natural family planning as an aspect or an added education or tool for contraceptive care. And I found a lot of great information while researching this topic that there's a need and a want for women to use these applications to prevent pregnancy. And I felt that I was uneducated and could really add depth to my scholarly project by researching and finding scientific evidence that these are a great fit for women. So I feel like this is going to add a lot of depth to my project. Traditional medical school curriculum does not address fertility awareness based methods of family planning. A 2017 study by Darvis, Kurtz, and Covert assessed third year medical students' knowledge of fertility awareness methods of family planning. They also assess their confidence in utilizing that knowledge in patient care, implementing focused education on fertility awareness based methods to improve knowledge and confidence. The same study estimated that 1 in 5 women are interested in these methods. And they also found a common misconception commonly quoted is that these methods have a 24% failure rate. This is old research with imperfect and infrequent use of the methods for this 24% failure rate. These same third year students reported that 27% of them said they spent no time in school learning about fertility awareness based methods, and 56% said they spent less than 1 hour on these methods. The same studies that we talked about earlier, rating performance of fertility apps, show that there is a higher increase or need or want for this information about fertility awareness based methods. There's over 40,000 apps available, with nearly 100 apps allowing women to track their fertility and menstrual cycles. So there's been downloads of some of the most popular apps over 1 million times. So there's definitely a need for women to learn about these apps, and their providers or primary care physicians don't have the knowledge content because they're not being taught in school. So this shows that there's a gap in education for providers and a real need for this to be learned. So this is a relevant topic to family practice. As I just discussed, the medical students' knowledge of fertility awareness based methods and the research showing a lack of coverage of natural family planning and an increased interest of women who want to pursue non hormonal and non invasive contraceptive methods, I feel there is a relevance of this topic to educate providers, educate patients, and utilize this as a collaborative approach so women can make informed decisions about the type of contraceptives they would like to use. Besides my love of women's health, I've always loved wearable technology. I've had a Garmin watch since I was training for marathons in 2007, and it's amazing how far technology has come. Reading the mHealth studies showing positive change in pregnancy health, where they've adapted in person coaching and the positive changes they had for nutrition, for preconceptive health, and transitioning that into a application that women can download and have more widespread access is really fascinating. And I want to try to learn more about other ways to apply this in a practice. And I personally had negative effects from hormonal birth control that made me want to learn more about NFP. And then the study showing that medical students lack knowledge on this makes me feel like there's a need for providers to learn more about natural family planning. While searching for research literature regarding natural family planning and fertility awareness based methods, I found a common theme in the research. I did find that fertility monitors are becoming increasingly more popular. Women are using fertility monitors as a method to avoid or space pregnancies, in addition to their intended purpose and marketing, which is for fertility. Little research exists regarding the efficacy of these applications and their use in avoiding pregnancy. I'm going to discuss two different research articles that looked at the efficacy of fertility awareness-based methods or natural family planning that women are currently using as mobile applications and monitoring for fertility in the mindset for using it as contraceptive. So one was a tool that they developed, or a scale to rate the current existing applications that they found on Android and iPhone or Mac applications. So of these 155 met criteria, and only 6 were scientifically sound or reason to be able to say that they're safely usable for contraceptive. And the other was a survey that looked at 1,000 women who are currently using these methods or applications for a contraceptive method. Both the studies agree that there is not enough literature regarding available mobile health for contraceptive use. And as the one study found, only 6 of the 100 on the market were scientifically proven, and education was lacking in the survey of the 1,000 women about what is scientifically sound in health for contraceptive use when using it, fertility awareness methods, or natural family planning. So they both kind of came to the conclusion that more research is needed evaluating these methods for women. Fertility awareness-based methods or natural family planning and mHealth are newer aspects to healthcare, and limited trials or studies exist looking at their efficiency. I did find 2 studies that have been completed that were retrospective, one currently in progress prospective study, and one completed prospective trial over different methods. All of them were over different methods, except for there were 2 concerning the Natural Cycles app. There was another that evaluated heart rate and luteinizing hormone urine strips, and the DOT method, which is strictly based off of your input of your period start dates and your cycle changes that you input over a period of time. The other study, the Natural Cycles, is input of basal body temperature and optional luteinizing hormone. What all of these studies agreed upon is that a lot of these were the first study of its kind, and limited research exists and is needed to compare and contrast the efficiency or efficacy of these methods. Another thing that was mentioned for all of the studies is while a randomized trial is preferred, it's very difficult to do when you're using data input entry like these women would be required to do, and none of them were able to obtain a randomized subject pool. So all of these were selected or volunteer participants. There was no randomization. More prospective studies are needed because the strength of evidence is stronger. Although there were 2 studies that are prospective, only one was completed, and that was the AVA bracelet. Something that all of these studies did mention and is of importance is that these applications are only found as effective at high rate of use or perfect use, which is going to depend on the woman's input and her partner and their ability to abstain on days that are marked as fertile to use these methods as contraception. So there's a lot of different variables that will play into the effectiveness. So what they're trying to find is how effective is it with high use and or perfect use. So all of these had similar findings if the participants had high or perfect use, traditionally found with historical studies looking at these different methods that are already in existence. Something that was notable is the AVA method is the first of its kind to have wearable technology that you plug in to a charger during the day and sleep with at night, and it monitored your heart rate and it also monitors temperature changes, and it says that it monitors bioimpedance, which looks at your resistance and change in blood flow via the application worn on the dorsal side of your wrist. They don't release their logarithm. The Natural Cycles did publish their logarithm, so these are using already in existence tools and methods of natural family planning, and then applying it to a logarithm specific to their application for mobile use. So this was all fascinating, and again, they all agreed that the increase of women needing or wanting these non-hormonal methods for contraceptive is increasing, that all of their methods depend highly on the woman's interpretation of her signs and symptoms during her period and the data that they input, and high use of the data points, in addition to being able to abstain on the days that the methods or applications determine you are fertile. As I discussed earlier, I think it's really exciting that they were able to take in clinic educational courses that showed success and develop them into an mHealth online coaching class. And I feel like this is going to be the future of women who want to use natural family planning. I'm also excited to expand my knowledge base on options for women who are seeking non hormonal contraceptive care. And I think this is going to be a great addition to my knowledge base for all women of childbearing age. So, in conclusion, there's a lot of options for women seeking mHealth to supplement their natural family planning contraceptive methods. There's not a lot of evidence based science supporting which method is most effective, but they're working on that. And I feel like this project is going to provide valuable information and technology I can use to help support my scholarly project and future practice.